COVID-19 has thrown us many curveballs, and we had to adjust as the days, months, and now years went by. An area that was most affected was our finances, and the lesson learned is the importance of creating wealth and maintaining it to withstand times like these. So on today's show, we remind you of some of the ways to accumulate wealth.
From you start to earn, you must budget, and included in that budget must be money for retirement and money for wealth.
Stick around for the full interview and the top news stories of the day, plus a trip to the Sir John Golding Rehabilitation Center to see the remarkable work being done to restore hope in deep despair. You're watching Jamaica Magazine, and I'm Adrian Atkinson. Stay with us.
To properly carry out a hand rub, apply a palmful of the product in your cupped hand, covering all surfaces. Rub your hands palm to palm. Rub your right palm over the back of your left hand with interlaced fingers and vice versa. Rub your hands palm to palm with fingers interlaced. Rub the back of your fingers to opposing palms with fingers interlocked. Rotationally rub backwards and forwards the clasped fingers of your right hand in your left palm and vice versa. Once your hands are dry, they are now safe.
Good day, I'm Theodore Henry, and this is your JIS News for Thursday, March 10, 2022. Minister of Science, Energy and Technology, Darrell Vaz, is assuring the country that no effort is being spared to ensure Jamaica remains supplied with the full range of petroleum products needed. On Wednesday, the minister updated the National Partnership Council on the impact the Ukraine-Russia war is having on the local energy market. He says all current supply arrangements remain intact, and Petrojam, the country's sole oil refinery, is actively exploring additional suppliers of both crude and finished products to ensure uninterrupted supply. The refinery currently sources crude from Petrobras in Brazil and from Colombia and Ecuador, with small quantities also purchased from Barbados. The company also has existing term contracts in place for refined products. Minister Vaz says that since the Russia-Ukraine crisis, the refinery has reached out to countries in Latin America, including Guyana and Argentina, to secure additional options for crude oil. Petrojam is also in dialogue with Petroecuador, Ecopetrol in Colombia, and the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation to establish term supply agreements. A team from the refinery will be traveling to the annual American Fuel Petrochemical Manufacturers Conference this weekend to meet with oil traders and other national oil companies in an effort to secure additional options or contracts for both crude oil and refined products. As for its storage capabilities, the Energy Minister says Petrojam has additional crude oil storage in St. Eustatius, and alternative storage arrangements are being explored and will be announced once confirmed. Russia accounts for 10% of the oil consumed by the world and about 17% of natural gas. And since its military invasion of Ukraine, global oil prices have spiked as countries fear supply shortages. Fitch Ratings Agency has affirmed the government of Jamaica's long-term foreign currency issuer default rating at B+ and maintained the outlook at stable. Fitch says this was driven by several factors, including Jamaica's favorable business climate, consistent fiscal policy efforts to lower the debt burden, and continued deficit reduction, bolstered by a 15.4% growth in revenues between April and December 2021. The International Ratings Agency also cited healthy reserves, underpinned by a strong growth in remittances. Jamaica's gross international reserves was $4.8 billion as recorded at the end of the 2021 financial year. The agency's stable outlook for Jamaica reflects expectation that the debt-to-GDP ratio will return to a downward trajectory, supported by the government's actions to run high primary surpluses. Minister of Finance and the Public Service, Dr. Nigel Clarke, has welcomed Fitch's rating, which he says is a tangible demonstration of international investors' confidence in Jamaica and the resilience of our economy. It will take a shorter time for persons to be vested in a pension scheme, as the current 10-year period has been reduced to 5 years. The new mandatory vesting period was announced by Finance Minister Dr. Nigel Clark as he opened the 2022-2023 budget debate in Parliament on Tuesday. He says the Pension, Superannuation and Retirement Schemes Act 2004 will be repealed and replaced to address matters such as vesting, portability, indexation, and other reforms. This is intended to make saving toward a private pension more attractive. Under the new law, pension rights will be portable, including the contributions of a former employer once the employee has worked for a prescribed vested period. It will also allow for simultaneous membership to a pension scheme and an individual retirement scheme, which is currently prohibited. In addition, it will allow for innovation in pension payout products to possibly include paying out remaining funds to a beneficiary after the pensioner has died.
In addition to the social benefits, pension funds will become longer-term focused as the frequency of refunds will decline.
Also coming out of the Finance Minister's budget presentation, the Jamaican banknotes will undergo a series of upgrading and redesigning. This is to improve the security features, extend the lifespan of the notes, and provide inclusivity for the visually impaired. Minister Nigel Clark says the current notes are made from material that are not the most durable. As a result, there is a high frequency in the reordering of notes. The upgrade is expected to reduce those associated costs.
The introduction of a substrate that offers a significant increase in durability will yield substantial benefits as it relates to the average circulation life of banknotes, which in turn will lead to lower order quantities with less frequency relative to current practice. There are substrates such as pure polymer, which is used in many countries like the United Kingdom, which have a much longer life and are therefore much more cost-effective.
The new banknotes will have a clear color distinction among the different denominations, with the notes bearing the images of all 7 national heroes and the 4 deceased prime ministers. A $2,000 note will also be introduced and will feature the images of late former prime ministers Michael Manley and Edward Seaga. Minister Clark says the new and upgraded banknotes will start circulating late in the calendar year, with the Bank of Jamaica conducting sensitization sessions to increase familiarity with the notes. And finally, the automated palm and fingerprint identification system used by the Criminal Records Office of the Jamaica Constabulary Force island-wide has been upgraded. A multi-biometric identification system has been installed at a cost of $830 million. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of National Security, Courtney Williams, says the newly installed system is the latest of its kind. The previous system was originally installed in October 2006, and the newer version was implemented over the past 18 months. Mr. Williams says the latest upgrade provides state-of-the-art fingerprinting technology characterized by new advanced hardware and software to complement all 4 criminal records processing sites across the island. He explains that the system, which is an important tool in the fight against crime, is a valuable resource that provides information on criminal record history, typically referred to as police records. It also assists criminal investigators with forensic analysis to scientifically confirm the identity of suspects in a crime. A key feature of the upgrade is the system's ability to be configured to process not just fingerprints, but other biometric data such as facial recognition. By using peripheral devices, he says law enforcement officers working in spaces like zones of special operations are also able to scan prints in the field and remotely check the system's database to verify and review an individual's identity and criminal history. Meanwhile, the Jamaica Constabulary Force says it is working to implement a new administrative system to address backlogs and long lines at the criminal records offices. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching.
What a way you're full of our roots and culture. That was in Jamaica 60. Jamaica 60? What a piece of news, Miss Matty. I feel like my heart going bust up. Just in, the island of Jamaica is on the verge of celebrating its 60th year of independence. We have to celebrate it. They say the people them come here, you know. But you see, when our people decide, say the other people them free paper, burn up. Them say if it's war, start it, whatever. We all collect medal, panta, The celebrations are slated to begin on January 1st, 2022. Organized by the Ministry of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport. We have more in this report. I am on site and planning activities are ablaze. Persons are advised to download the Reggae Jamaica app to know what it activities for the Jamaica 60 celebration. Yeah. I download the app to get the updates then.
We are still in the budget season, and as the government presents its revenue projections and how that will be achieved, likewise, as individuals, we must have a plan for how to accumulate wealth. To guide you along this process, the Financial Services Commission outlines a few examples.
What is a budget? How do I open an account? When I put my money in the bank, is it really safe? Financially literate citizens know the importance of money management, savings, and investing. Hello, I'm Daniel Pasley and welcome to Finance Matters. In today's episode, I'll be talking to the Director of Stakeholder Engagement, Communication and International Relations at the Financial Services Commission, Mr. David Geddes. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow the Ministry of Finance on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter to see all the episodes and highlights. Welcome, Mr. Geddes, for coming on the program.
Thank you. A pleasure to be here, Daniel.
Now, what does financial literacy mean to you?
Financial literacy means that you are equipped with the knowledge and skill sets to manage your financial assets. Means that you understand that there are certain things you need to do. You need to have a bank account in order to do transactions, to be a part of the economy. You need to insure your assets as you get them. And you need to create wealth so that you can plan for retirement. When you understand and are committed to that, then you are financially literate.
But a man on the street might hear this and say, boy, this sounds very difficult and for persons in middle class and upper class, so why should it be important to me?
Definitely not. Everybody is good. There's going to come a time in everybody's life when they have to retire. So let's look at that first. Retirement planning. The minute that you start to earn any money, you should be considering how you are going to retire, when you are going to retire, and the lifestyle that you wish to experience when you're retired. So you have to plan for that. So you put away money each month, either in a pension or an approved retirement scheme, and you ensure that you have money in your later years.
Now, what is the role of the Financial Services Commission in educating the Jamaican citizens about financial literacy?
Okay, the Financial Services Commission, FSC. First of all, we regulate and supervise the securities industry, that's like the stock market, the insurance industry, whether health, life insurance, general insurance, and also private pensions. So it is critical for us to promote financial literacy. We start with the very young. We have a school's financial education program, and that is in high secondary schools across the island, where we teach the children how to budget, understanding credit, how to create wealth, and also how to plan for retirement. These are necessary skills so that as soon as you enter the workforce, you are able to plan for your future, not just going day by day and hoping for the best. There will always be a rainy day, and you need to plan for that rainy day, and you need to plan for your retirement.
We've been experiencing a crisis, so to speak. COVID-19 is here for over a year now, and I'm sure that there were some financial theories that were challenged during this pandemic. Could you share some of those?
Excellent question. The fact is that the COVID pandemic has been several rainy days just continuing, and we're in the midst of it. Nobody even knows when or if there will be a post-COVID. What we have learned during this period is that the conventional wisdom of having about 3 months' salary put away, so in case of any emergency, well, we have, as you just said, we're well over a year into the pandemic, and some persons have lost their jobs, persons have had to retire early. There are a lot of different things that have happened that have just thrown things off kilter. So what we know now is that you have to plan even for the unexpected, and putting away the minimum is not good enough. You need to put away as much as possible, and you need to budget. Can't overemphasize the importance of budgeting. From you start to earn, you must budget, and included in that budget must be money for retirement and money for wealth. Persons think about just having, say, a bank account and then just drawing money from that. You need an account also that you're actually using to create wealth, and also you need a stream of funds for that rainy day that you can access. So you're thinking about creating wealth, you're thinking about a rainy day emergency fund, and you're also thinking about retirement planning.
So basically you have a diverse portfolio.
Most definitely, and that's part of being financially literate, that the knowledge and skill set to get that diverse set of accounts.
So hit it home for me. Give me some practical tips of how we can manage our finances.
Well, first of all, if you create a budget and separate your wants from your needs, that's a very first step. There are things that you may want. You may want to go to a party. You may want to get this new outfit. You may want to rent a car for a particular weekend or whatever. Those are wants, usually. Now, in terms of needs, you need to pay your rent or your mortgage.
Right.
You need to eat. These are important things. So you deal with the needs first, and then you deal with the wants. Now, for me, I like to tell persons that importantly, a need is putting away money for retirement, because you will need it down the road. So you need to put away money either in a retirement scheme or in your pension, in a pension plan. And also, the minute you start to get any assets, persons think about only insurance for their car if you own a car, because the law says you must insure your vehicle.
Right.
But if you have a home, if you even rent a place, you can actually insure the contents of the house, the furniture in the house, even if you don't own the building itself. So there's an insurance product for everybody and for all occasions, and it is important for you to insure your assets so that should something happen, you can benefit. There's even the possibility of insuring against a loss of income. And persons on, say, the Rio Grande in Portland doing rafting, my home parish, by the way, they may lose their rafts in a storm. You can get microinsurance for that. And
let's talk about microinsurance. Just explain.
Microinsurance, okay, normally you get paid monthly.
Right.
You would pay that premium monthly to an insurance company. Microinsurance is set for persons, vulnerable persons in the society, for instance, farmers, rafts persons, those persons who get money in a sporadic way. So they craft a special policy for them so that they can insure their crop or they can insure their rafts, and should something happen, they get that money. And also there are limits on the policy value for microinsurance, and that's further information is available on our website www.fscjamaica.org. So persons can get information on that there,
and also on your social media pages as well.
And our social media pages at FSC Jamaica. Yes.
All right, thank you, Mr. Geddes, for coming on the program and sharing us some critical lessons about financial literacy.
It was a pleasure to be here.
I hope everyone is taking notes. I want to thank Mr. Geddes for sharing his insights and lessons that we no doubt found useful. And thank you for joining us for another episode of Finance Matters. Follow us on social media at MOF Jamaica. And of course, tune in next week as we continue to demystify the economic and fiscal policies and initiatives implemented by the government of Jamaica to empower Jamaicans as we chart a path to Jamaica's economic prosperity.
Sign with me.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Sign with me.
Life is often layered with unforeseen circumstances, and preparation is too often the uncalculated element. For one child we met recently, an unforeseen circumstance changed her life. But through a stroke of hope, the courage to recover, and the very capable hands of some medical experts, her story is evolving into a different one. Here's enabling through rehabilitation.
Nastasia Edwards is one of many children in the pediatric ward at the Sir John Golding Rehabilitation Center. Formerly known as the Mona Rehabilitation Center, it was founded in 1954 by an orthopedic surgeon named Sir John Golding to treat patients during the polio epidemic and caters to all ages.
In the case of Nastasia, she had this injury to her spine, which then caused the spinal cord to be damaged, and it happened roughly from her waist down. So she's not able to move her legs, but she has full function of her arms, which is why we're doing what we're doing in terms of strengthening her arms to do everything for herself.
A typical day here, I wake up, I have breakfast, I go to gym, and I come back from gym, I have lessons.
Most young children at the center are integrated into the Hope Valley Experimental School, a government-operated school which provides education up to the GSAT level, or work with a tutor to continue their studies.
We don't want any child who is admitted, who has, her school life has been disrupted. We don't want it to be disrupted any further. So where we can, we get a tutor in, whether it's through the school or through from our side, the arrangement is made. She's on the cushion, and now she's going to push up on the blocks. Count it, Nastasia, and breathe.
Up again, 4, very good. Last one, good.
Awesome. So, in terms of what we do for her in physiotherapy, we ensure that she's strong enough to be able to lift up herself in the chair, to push the wheelchair, and that requires even a special technique, but it also requires strength. But when she first came to us, Nastasia could barely push a wheelchair. She could barely sit up, but she tolerates so much more now. She's sitting up and balancing, and she is doing really, really well.
Gym is hard work because I want to be back on my feet. So I have to work hard and always keep in my mind that I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. The difficult exercises are when I have to transfer from a wheelchair to another place. So I have to go on the mat and then I have to go on my belly, and it hurts a lot because I have a scar on my tummy. My favorite exercise is the one where you do this, the pecs. Yeah, that's what it's called, pecs.
And so she's pulling the beams together, and she's actually pulling 72 pounds. And I would suppose she started off at maybe 24 as well. Yes. And now she's at 72 pounds.
Whenever I'm doing my physio and I find it hard, they're always like, yeah, you can do it, you can do it.
She also gets strong support from her parents who visit almost every day.
From she has been here, we've been closer because I try to give her as much support, and when I'm not here, I call her and strengthen her mentally because I don't want her to get depressed. I have seen her looking much healthier now, and she's feeling much better now. She's doing things that she never could do before. It makes me feel great, and I'm very hopeful.
What we aim to achieve for our patients is to ensure that our patients are rehabilitated. And when we say rehabilitated, we mean within the limits of their disability. We want to return them to as much function as possible prior to the injury. And then of course, once we have rehabilitated them, the intention is to get them back into society, reintegrating them into society, whether it's back to school, back to work, depending of course on the age of the person. Well, in terms of the services offered here, physiotherapy services, medical services, and the nursing services, the social work services, the dietetic services as well, and we have a counseling psychologist who, again, will help patients with adjusting to their disability.
Aware of the many barriers persons with disabilities face trying to integrate into society, financial support from the NGO Monex Limited provides job opportunities for the center's patients. Skills development is also facilitated through workshops on woodwork, graphics, photocopying, printing, and binding. And patients interested in pursuing sports have the opportunity to train and represent the country on an international level through the Jamaica Paralympic Association.
Sometimes I have mixed emotions because I'm not able to move around freely like a normal person would. But sometimes I have my hopes up. I trust in God, and I think positively that I'll get up out of the wheelchair, walk again, and live life to the fullest.
I encourage the deaf children to have deaf pride, to know that they can. You're on the same level as a hearing person. It doesn't matter that you can't hear. You have a lot of deaf adults who are successful, and you can achieve. You can get the education that you want, you can do anything that you want, you can achieve. Don't feel like you can't because you're deaf.
In believing that nothing is impossible, I have been able to culture a very positive attitude to life, and that positive attitude has worked for me, and I am confident it will work for others. I would want to say to persons with vision impairment and disabilities that it is critical that they become tooled or retooled with the appropriate technologies that can help to drive the way forward so that they can accomplish their vision and their goals.
Children with disabilities, whether you have CP or not, I strongly believe that you have a purpose. My disability has taught me that when it says the sky is the limit, it is. There are times when you're going to fall, but what is to stop you from rising?
This is where our journey ends, but only for today. Do join us again tomorrow when we'll bring you another informative program. In the meantime, stay connected via our website, jis.gov.jm. And while you're online, send your feedback to Jamaica Magazine@jis.gov.jm or via tweet at JIS News. You may also find us on all the major social media platforms and through a mobile app that's Android and iOS compatible. On behalf of the entire production team, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Do take care.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.